might have one kid in here 3 hours and another kid in here 50 minutes,
Right.
but we meet with them every week. We have spent time with them before practice every day in the film room. We have team bonding and we have team building, which are different. Okay. Team bonding is that fun stuff. Team building is learning how to communicate and be honest and authentic with each other and how to grow together. And we spend a lot of time outside of that, having dinners at Coach Corey's house, and maybe we get ice cream and lunches here. And all of those things are intentional to spend time with our players to get to know them. Because how can you coach them if you don't know them? You know what I mean? And how can you help them be prepared for life after basketball if you don't know them? And so, we really make sure that we spend the time, and it's a lot of work. And
Yeah.
but we do that.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, a lot of it sounds like a lot of the building and the teaching and the coaching, what you feel called to, a lot of it actually happens off the court, right? A lot of these different like life skills, right? That's what Bridging Impact's all about, right? Building leaders on the court that way, when we all eventually hang up our shoes, everyone hangs up their shoes.
Mhm.
We're equipped with those life skills. And so with that, I would love, for you to talk about like what or share any stories around like some, I feel like team building, team bonding, things that happen off the court that you feel like end up translating on the court.
Hmm. Um, well, let's say one of the cool things that we did this year that I think everybody loved was one of our alumni, her and her family. They have like this big yacht, and so
Okay.
before the season, we all went on this yacht, and I mean, it was a complete day. We arrived in the morning, then we got to the boat. They were out laying around. They were jumping off the deck into the water. They're pulling each
Right.
other on, all these tubes and stuff. And then we had lunch, and then we had some more things, but when you ask them what was one of their favorite parts of the year, most of them will say it was on that boat. But it was during that time where it wasn't just Coach Tasha, it was them being able to see me in a different light, and Coach Corey and Coach Shannon, and bonding with their teammates, just really spending intentional time and laughing and joking. And there's so much power in becoming a team in just that. And so, that would be like an example of some of the things that we set up. Or, we might have a party at Coach Corey's house, and they convince Corey to jump into the pool. And so,
Right.
there's all these little moments that really build trust. And that's what it really comes down to, that they trust that we care about them and that we have their best interest at heart. And if we can build that relationship and that trust, then anything that we do on the court to push them towards their goals and towards their greatness, they will trust that we have their best interest at heart.
Right. That makes a ton of sense. Right. I think I forget who it was, but there's a coach out there that said, like, I don't want to give feedback. I don't want to coach anyone hard until I, build that relationship with them, just because, like you're saying, you want to build that trust with them so that they know that you're not just about only winning. You're about, you genuinely care about their well-being and their development and their growth as a person. And, a lot
Absolutely.
of growth happens through conflict. And I'm sure there's always, kind of conflict on a collegiate team. You all are spending a ton of time together. So, in as a coach, like how do you typically like handle different conflicts, and what kind of skills should, coaches try and equip, for inner team conflict?
Sure. Well, we're going to talk about everything. And so part of that team building is developing communication, their
Mm.
ability to communicate. And we invite that open, honest communication with us. And then they know that we're going to give that open, honest communication with them back. And so the ability for us to sit down in a space and talk through how they're feeling, we do that all the time. And so that's a big thing for us. The other thing that people, I think, miss a lot when you think about growth and learning is sometimes before you can have growth and sometimes before you can have learning, there's a lot that has to be unlearned. And
Mm.
so when these young women come to us, they've come from great families and different experiences. And sometimes there are some things that they've learned to believe about themselves that even society has said that's incorrect, or some things that they've said to themselves that's just not correct. And so sometimes we have to spend a lot of time on getting them to unlearn those things that aren't true about them So we can deposit those things and help them uncover the beauty of who they are. And so much for women in basketball and in life is about self image, because one of the things that we believe is that you'll never outperform your self image. And so for us to equip them to be strong women that can communicate how they feel is important for us. So to your point, I think it's long winded. How do we get to, I mean, dealing with some of those things? The first thing we have to be able to do is acknowledge it and then have communication about it.
Yeah, the open dialogue and communication it's an essential aspect of things, and I would love for you to share like how do you help develop and build their self image, because that is so important, right? Like if you're building a championship team, or just a championship style character of a person who's going to end up graduating, and the way that they
Right.
view themselves in the world just impacts the everyone around them. So I'm curious,
Sure.
how you all, and I'm sure it's consistent daily actions, but
Yeah,
I'd love to learn more.
it is consistent daily actions, and we do quite a bit. We bring in different people that work with our team that specialize in team dynamics and team bonding. We also have Coach Shannon on our staff that does a leadership training with our team. We also have myself, who I do a lot with our mental training and our mindset training.
Mm.
And there we do tackle a lot of things that are not true and help them learn things that are true about themselves, and then give them tools to be able to handle a lot of the things that they have occur on a day-to-day basis. As well as our other coaches are constantly having conversations and helping them through things, and we put them in positions to have to work through some things, whether
Mhm.
it's they're afraid of public speaking, or they're afraid of
Right.
different things. We put them in those situations so that they can grow in them, and we're right there with them. We're right there with them,
Right.
so they know that.
Yeah, you're putting them through different things and doing the
Mhm.
leadership trainings. And so for the coaches and even parents that are listening, and that want to like work with their athletes in terms of like helping them build a more positive mindset, or work with them on their leadership training, like where's a good place to start?